Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Terra Luna. I do want to say that I am not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to check it out. It's going to be in the top right hand corner of the video. Now we are on the weekly chart. I just want to zoom out and show you the weekly chart just so you can see how bullish we are and how bullish Luna is, because I'm sure there are a couple of you guys who think Luna is, in a downtrend, or Luna is gonna go to zero or whatever, because there's always a couple of those guys who comment below my videos telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about, and probably, yes, I don't know what I'm talking about, but still, Luna is very bullish, and it's not in a downtrend. It's not, it's not going down anytime soon, unless Bitcoin absolutely craps the bed. So this is our June/July bottom over here. In September, as you can see with the dip that we had in the markets, Luna hasn't even dipped that much. With this pullback that we got in December and November, we didn't even bounce off the 20 EMA on the weekly chart. So straight off the bat, your very important support level is the weekly 20 EMA. That is sitting at $60.50. So make sure you have some buy orders at this price, because we can potentially see a wick to the 20 EMA and a quick recovery, just like we had these two big wicks bought up. So with the demand rising for the UST stablecoin, you can see how Luna is appreciating because of that. So yeah, it's looking very good. Obviously, if we start losing the 20 EMA on the weekly chart, look for the support on the 55 EMA. But honestly, I don't think we're going, below the 20 EMA anytime soon. Unless there's like some super bearish news in the crypto markets, I don't see us, bouncing off the 55 EMA. Now, if I bring back my drawings, you can see that I did give you this buy zone over here, the yellow rectangle, and we actually went a bit below it over here. So from $68 to $63.6 was my buy zone, and we actually did wick down there. And if you bought in that dip, you're up 34%, which is not that bad. Next up, you look at the Fib retracement. So we got to the 1.618. That's our target, Matt. That was a beautiful, beautiful target that we had. And I gave you that target once we were over here. As you can see, I was able to lay down the Fib with this swing low and this swing high. And we got the 1.618 over here at $65 or $66. So from there to the 1.618, that's 1,558%. And to the all-time high, we're up 2,500% basically. So Luna is super bullish. If I see it come down to the 20 EMA, I'm definitely going to be buying some more tokens. But as you can see, what we essentially did over here, this is the 1.618 level. You broke above it, you back tested it as support, and now you're starting to move up, which is, basically everything that you need to do. So next up, we're looking at the $128.5, which is our next Fib retracement here above the 1.618. So from where we are right now, that is a 60% move. So potentially, if you enter right now, you have that 60% trade for you. Obviously, if you're buying for the long term, just buy off of these dips. There's no need to worry about the short-term price fluctuations. Now, jumping into the weekly RSI, as you can see, we were in the oversold here on the weekly, and we went back down here. Ignore the trend lines, they are for the daily chart. So we went all the way down here to 62. Now we are, a bit below the oversold, but still I would like to see us come back even lower on the weekly chart, because as you can see, pretty much for the past 6-7 months, you've been, around about the oversold or the overbought area. Apologize. So you're overbought once you're above the index of 70. And as you can see here, you were sitting on the index of 80. So that was a great time to take some profits on Terra Luna. Now jumping into the daily chart. So we have a $206.50 price and $265 per Luna token. And that is after we break through the second Fib level, right? So you want to be looking at these for the long term. Right now, if you want a speculative trade, right, you can enter once you have a bounce off of the daily 55 EMA. So potentially, as you can see right now, we're coming back down to the 20 EMA on the daily chart with another maybe potential Bitcoin pullback that I'm expecting in the next week or so. You may come back down to the 55 EMA. Currently, that's around about $73. So that can be a nice entry point, and then you sell once you get back to the 20 EMA on the daily chart. So that's that would be a nice, I would say, 10% trade, right? Let me just check. Well, around about 10%, yeah. That's if you're looking for a short-term trade. Now, if we go lower and you see another bounce off of the 1.618 over here at $65, and that's another great entry point. And from the 1.618, like I said, all the way to the second fib level over here, that's another good almost 100% trade basically. So yeah, look for these buy zones. Luna isn't gonna dip very hard from what we've seen. Historically it's not dipping that hard. It's in an uptrend, even though we had all these pullbacks here. So this was the September pullback basically. So it was a 2-day 3-day pullback for Luna, and you got back to your previous levels, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, I gave you this buy zone. As you can see, we just wicked below this 63.6 price tag, and this was a great buying opportunity for everyone. As you can see, we're up already 40% almost. Now jumping into the daily RSI, let's take a look what's going on over here. So you were in the overbought here December 26th. The last update we had was January 9th. So ever since then, as you can see, we had a bounce off of this resistance on the daily RSI, and I told you about this RSI in the last video. I told you that that could be a nice take profit zone. So potentially you could have sold some here, you could have sold some tokens over here and bought back once you had a pullback. Now what you've done is you broke above it, but you failed to hold it as support, and you're coming back down for a retest of a key support level. So you have these two pink trend lines. I just extended them a bit. So you can see you potentially can land on this trend line over here, this pink trend line. So look for some buy orders once you drop the once the RSI drops on the support line, if that does happen indeed, because you can see that this trend line was a resistance trend line for multiple months over here. We couldn't hold it as support over here, and now we back tested it as resistance. So yeah, over here, nice entry points for the RSI. And obviously, as always, if you see yourself rolling and you lose this pink trend line, you lose this white trend line at 34.4, because that's another great support that you have over here. You've bounced off that level a couple of times. So if you see yourself rolling and you go all the way down here into the oversold, that's a perfect entry point for any asset really, but for Terra Luna especially, because it doesn't dip that hard. And if you see it dip that hard, that's a great entry point, because it's probably going to recover faster than all the other cryptos. So yeah, just draw these trend lines out so you can see them on your chart constantly. That way it's a lot easier for you to keep track of things. Now jumping into the Binance chart, you can see that we are printing a hidden bullish divergence. Basically, this is when the price action makes a higher low. We have our low over here, and we have a higher low over here. And when the oscillator, in this case the RSI, prints a lower low, so here is our low that is corresponding to this low, and this low is corresponding to this low, but here this is a lower low. So this means that we can potentially see a nice spike in the price action, and the hidden bullish divergence, usually does play out pretty accurately. And from what I've seen, once you have the hidden bullish divergence, you usually have a nice bounce up and a nice move. So we can potentially expect a higher high over here on the 4-hourly chart. But right now, as you can see, you're holding the 4-hourly 55 EMA. So that's potentially a great entry point right now. But Bitcoin's starting to lose the support levels of the 4-hourly 20 EMA. So we are potentially entering a little pullback. Now, taking a look at the 4-hourly Stochastic Rsi, you can see that we are completely in the oversold over here. So this is potentially a great entry point. So on the price action, it's a great entry point on the Stochastic Rsi. And if you take a look at the MACD, we just printed a bearish cross over here. Once you print a bearish cross, as you can see, the last one we had was here January 3rd, and we had a decent pullback over here. So potentially we're going to see a bit of more of a pullback here for Terra Luna, but I would suggest you start dollar cost averaging into Luna right now, because still these are great entry points, because you can see that once you land on the 4-hourly 55 EMA, you usually have a nice bounce from there. So potentially we can have a bounce from here right now, but I wouldn't guarantee anything obviously. But with any sort of dip, you need to buy through the dip and not go all in at one buy order. That's what I recommend doing. Now, yeah, that's pretty much it for the 4-hourly chart. One thing I do want to show you as well is we had a bear pennant over here with a target of $57. That didn't end up playing out, but we still dropped pretty significantly here, all the way almost to the 1.272, but we held the 1.414 on the fib relatively good. Now, this is a different fib from the fib before. Here, the swing low was September 21st, and the swing high was October 6th. So that gave us the 1.618 at $78. So we broke above that, got to the second fib level even at $103. You could have sold that. You could have sold that very nicely over here if you had the fib and you paid attention to my videos. You went back all the way down here below the 1.618, bounced off the 1.414. Now you broke above the 1.618 once again, and you're looking potentially for a retest of the 1.618 before your next leg up and a potential move to the second fib level once again. So this means that you can potentially look for the 1.618 as a great entry point at $78.50. I always recommend buying or setting your buy orders slightly above the support levels and slightly above the fib levels, just so you increase your chances of getting filled with that order, because the people who set their buy orders exactly at the support level, there's the chance that the price is going to reverse before the price gets to the support level, because a lot of smart traders do that thing where they set the buy orders above the support levels so that the price reverses without filling the actual support level. So just keep that in mind. I try to remind you guys of that in every single video. Sorry if that's a bit annoying, because maybe you've heard it 1,000 times before, but there are people who are watching this video for the first time. So I'm just trying to help you guys get more educated with these little trading tips. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, guys. You have your support levels, you have your long-term support levels, and like I said, draw this fib out. You have your support level here at the 1.618, $78.50. You have the 1.414, $67. Below that, you have this yellow trend line that you want to keep an eye on. And obviously, you still have the white trend line over here that you may bounce off of. So yeah, just try to draw this out on your chart. It's not that difficult. As you can see, just a couple of trend lines, a couple of support trend lines over here. This white trend line has been holding us as support over here in this dip, so we potentially can just bounce off of this support trend line and continue on with the uptrend. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.